Hello, and welcome to the English Channel, a simple space for curious minds and growing English skills.
Hey there, and welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm Liam.
And I'm Lisa. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something really fundamental.
Yeah, it's about how we connect, isn't it?
Exactly. How we talk about those experiences that are, universal to all of us.
That's right. We're exploring English conversation expressions, the kind you use for everyday topics.
Things like sleep, how you're feeling, money, shopping.
School experiences, talking about kids, the stuff that comes up all the time.
And these are so important because, well, they're not just words. They're how you really connect with people.
Right. Using the right phrase, or maybe avoiding the wrong one, it helps you express yourself clearly.
And understand others better, too. Get those nuances. It can make a huge difference in navigating conversation.
Absolutely. So what you learned today is a whole stack of these phrases and expressions.
Yeah, we'll cover everything from describing a terrible night's sleep,
You're talking about your money habits, or maybe your school days.
shopping desires, even how to chat about children naturally.
We'll unpack what they mean, how to use them, and importantly, why they matter in context.
Ready to dive in?
Let's do it. Where should we start? Maybe sleep.
Perfect. Let's start with sleep. Everyone does it, or tries to.
Okay, yeah. So the simplest question is obviously, how'd you sleep?
Right. But the answers, they can be so varied.
Yeah.
And revealing.
Totally. So if you slept really well, what's the go-to phrase?
The classic is, I slept like a baby.
Which, let's be honest, is kind of hilarious.
It is. Because actual babies,
Yeah.
not great sleepers generally.
No, waking up all the time.
Exactly. But the idiom, it means deep, peaceful, uninterrupted sleep. The ideal baby, not the reality.
Gotcha. Like the picture in your head.
Precisely. It's purely positive. Another one, very similar, is I slept like a log.
A log. Heavy, unmoving. Dead to the world, sort of?
Yes. Emphasizes that deep, still sleep.
Okay. What if you were just exhausted and boom, asleep instantly?
Then you might say, I just crashed.
Crash. Like your energy just completely gave out. Sudden.
Yep. Exactly that feeling. Or even stronger, I just passed out.
Now, that one needs a little clarification, doesn't it?
It does. Because passed out here doesn't mean fainting, like a medical thing.
Right, not losing consciousness involuntarily.
No, it just means you fell asleep immediately because you were incredibly tired.
Like worked 16 hours, got home, passed out on the sofa.
Perfect example. It's about sleep hitting you the second you stop. Another good one is, I was out like a light.
Simple analogy. Flick a switch, lights off, you were awake, then instantly asleep.
Yep. So those cover the good nights. What about the bad ones?
The nights where sleep just didn't happen.
Right. Maybe you were awake the whole time.
The most common way to say that is, I didn't sleep a wink.
Or, slightly less common, I didn't catch a wink. Same meaning.
And the wink part is interesting. Literally, it's closing one eye quickly.
But here, it means the absolute smallest amount of sleep possible. You didn't even get that much. Not a tiny bit.
And if you weren't awake all night, but just couldn't get comfortable, kept waking up.
Then you'd say, I tossed and turned all night.
You can almost picture it, can't you? Rolling side to side.
Yeah, it conveys that physical restlessness, the frustration of not being able to settle down and sleep.
Then there's a specific reason for no sleep. You chose not to sleep.
Yes. I pulled an all-nighter.
And this one has a pretty specific context usually.
Almost always. It's about staying awake all night to finish something. Studying for an exam is the classic example.
Or maybe a big work project deadline.
Exactly. You pulled it off. That verb pull is key. You always pull an all-nighter. It implies effort.
Right, you forced yourself through the night. Okay, let's shift gears slightly, talking about tiredness and deciding to go to bed.
Okay. There's a really useful phrase for perspective, for managing worry.
Which one's that?
I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
Oh, that's a great one. It means you recognize something's bothering you.
Yeah, problem of frustration.
But you're making a choice. You're deciding not to let it affect your sleep, your well-being.
Exactly. It's about perspective. This issue isn't worth sacrificing your rest for. Very healthy mindset, actually.
Definitely. Okay, so now you do decide it's time for bed. What do you say?
You've got options. Casually, I'm going to hit the hay.
Hit the hay. Sounds quite rustic.
It does. Or a bit simpler, I'm going to turn in.
I like turn in. It's neat.
It is very straightforward. And maybe the most common one when you're ending an evening out or stopping work.
That would be, I'm going to call it a night.
Yes. You're declaring, okay, my activities for this night are done. Time to head home or head to bed.
Well, getting late, think I'll call it a night, common.
Very. Then there are the more lighthearted ways to say you're tired,
Like, it's past my bedtime.
which is funny coming from an adult, right? Because bedtime is really for kids.
Yeah. But adults use it humorously to mean I'm really tired. More tired than I usually am at this hour.
Exactly. And similarly, I need my beauty sleep.
Also playful. The idea that sleep makes you look better.
Right. It's a bit silly, but it acknowledges sleep is good for you while playfully justifying going to bed early.
Okay, what about when sleep is sneaking up on you when it shouldn't? Like in a meeting.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
You might start to nod off.
Or start to doze off.
That nod is literal. Your head starts dropping. Doze off is just drifting into light sleep unintentionally. You're fighting it, but losing.
We've all been there. Okay, one more sleep-related one for decisions.
Yes. I'll sleep on it.
Meaning you won't decide right now.
Correct. You'll postpone the decision until tomorrow, hoping that rest and maybe some subconscious thought will bring clarity, usually for bigger decisions.
Makes sense. Let your brain work on it overnight.
Kind of. And just before you do sleep on it, wishing someone good night.
Common ones are sweet dreams.
Wishing pleasant dreams.
And
sleep tight.
Which always sounded a bit strange. Tight.
Well, the origin apparently is from sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite.
Oh, right. Back when beds had ropes you tightened and bed bugs were... Yeah.
Exactly. Now it just means sleep well, sleep soundly.
And then in the morning, talking about the dreams themselves.
I had the strangest dream last night. Very common start.
Because they often are strange.
They really are. But if the dream was bad, scary.
Then it's a nightmare.
Right. Nightmare is specifically a bad or frightening dream, not just a weird one.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot just on sleep.
It's a huge part of life. The language reflects that. Shall we move on to feelings?
Yes, let's. Talking about feelings can be tough, but so important for connection.
Absolutely. So how do you even start that conversation if it's something difficult?
A good, gentle opener is asking permission, almost. Hey, can we talk about something?
Yeah, that signals it's not just casual chat. You've got something specific, maybe serious on your mind.
Yeah.
It respects their space to listen.
And if you're the one feeling overwhelmed and you just need to let it out...
I can say, I just need to vent.
Venting, like letting off steam.
Exactly. Releasing pressure by talking, often without needing advice or solutions. Just getting it out.
And afterwards, it's nice to say.
Thanks for letting me vent.
Hmm.
Shows appreciation for them just listening.
Okay, describing the feelings. Basic ones are straightforward, like, I'm feeling really frustrated.
Sure. But there are more nuanced ones, like, I'm feeling a bit down lately.
Down, meaning sad, discouraged.
Yeah, maybe low energy, not quite yourself. It's a softer way to say you're sad. Perhaps not clinical depression, just down.
Okay. And if you're confused about life direction, career maybe.
I've been feeling a bit lost.
Lost. Like you don't know which way to go.
Exactly. Feeling uncertain about the path forward.
What about feeling stuck? Like you can't make progress.
Oh, then you could be in a funk.
Or in a rut.
Right. That rut image is strong, stuck in a track, hard to get out. Both mean feeling stagnant, low mood, unable to move forward easily.
You can also connect the feeling to the cause, right?
Yes. I feel really frustrated when, or it's hard when. That helps the listener understand the trigger.
And sometimes when you're trying to articulate something difficult, you might start with,
I just feel like...
yeah, that's super common. Why is that?
It often prefaces a perception, an internal feeling, that might not be a hard fact, but it's your reality.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like no one's listening. It softens it a bit, maybe.
Makes sense. Okay, shifting to positive feelings. Simple ones like, I feel happy or I feel relieved when...
Yes. And here's a really powerful one. A huge compliment, actually.
Okay.
I feel like I can be myself when I'm with you.
Wow. Yeah, that is big. It means you feel safe, accepted.
Totally. No judgment. You can just be authentic. That's about trust and psychological safety.
So important. And after you have shared something heavy, that feeling of release.
You might say, thanks so much for letting me get that off my chest.
Get it off your chest, like a physical weight being lifted.
Perfect analogy. It captures that relief perfectly.
Okay, let's flip it. How do you respond when someone else shares difficult feelings with you?
First, you might notice they seem off. Gently asking.
Are you feeling all right? You don't seem like yourself.
Key is the tone carrying, not accusatory. Just showing you noticed.
And if they seem like they might want to talk,
You can offer. Do you want to talk about it?
opens the door, doesn't force them, lets them know you're there.
Right. And showing empathy, showing you understand how a situation might feel.
You use that must have been structure.
Exactly. That must have been really frustrating or annoying, surprising, upsetting.
So you're guessing their feeling based on the situation and validating it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Your flight got canceled. Ugh, that must have been awful. It shows you're putting yourself in their shoes.
And if you want to offer help,
What can I do to support you? Sometimes listening is enough, but the offer matters.
what if they're hesitant to share?
You can gently encourage, maybe using metaphors like don't bottle it up.
Or don't keep it inside?
Yeah, the idea that holding emotions in isn't healthy. Encourage release through sharing.
And finally, after they've shared something vulnerable,
A simple, validating closing. Thanks for sharing that with me.
acknowledges their trust. Nice. Okay, from feelings to money.
Ah, yes, money. Always a relevant topic, though sometimes a bit sensitive.
Definitely. English has tons of ways to talk about it. Let's start with having a lot of it.
Okay. Beyond just rich, you have more informal terms like they are loaded,
Loaded. Simple, clear, got a heavy load of cash.
or maybe a bit more dramatic, they are filthy rich.
Filthy. Why filthy?
It's hyperbole, I think. Just emphasizes an almost obscene amount of wealth.
Okay, and the visual one.
They are rolling in money.
Love that image. Piles of cash, Scrooge McDuck style. Means they have way more than they need.
Exactly. But interestingly, talk about the super rich isn't always positive, is it?
No, definitely not. You hear terms like the 1%.
Right. Referring to the wealthiest 1%, often used critically, implying maybe disproportionate power or wealth.
And they might be described as out of touch.
Meaning their wealth isolates them from the everyday concerns of normal people. They don't get it.
Like not knowing the price of milk kind of thing.
Yeah. So, okay, opposite end. Having very little money.
A common one is, I'm just scraping by.
Scraping. Like getting the last little bits from the bottom of something. Just enough for essentials, nothing extra.
Similar, maybe implying more effort to find money. I had to scrunch.
Scrunge. Yeah. It suggests actively looking everywhere, maybe borrowing small amounts, piecing things together out of necessity, hardship.
And the phrase for living paycheck to paycheck.
We're really trying to just make ends meet.
Making ends meet, your income end just meets your expenses end.
Yeah.
No gap, no surplus.
Perfectly describes that feeling. More indirectly, you could say money is tight right now.
Tight. Like there's no room to move, no flexibility. It means you have to be careful.
Or I'm on a budget.
Now that's different from making a budget, right?
Yes. Good distinction. Being on a budget implies you're currently operating under financial restriction.
Yeah.
Being careful because money is tight. Making a budget is the planning process itself.
Got it. Okay. Attitudes towards spending. Negative terms for people who hate spending.
He's so stingy. Unwilling to spend or share. Seen as mean.
Or, he is such a penny pincher.
Pinching every single penny. Extremely careful. Maybe excessively so.
And the literary one.
Stop being such a Scrooge. From A Christmas Carol. The ultimate miser. Very negative.
But being careful can be good.
Absolutely. The positive term is he's so frugal.
Frugal implies smart, careful spending.
Mm-hmm.
Avoiding waste, living within means, but not necessarily ungenerous. Thoughtful.
Right. They're probably a saver.
Someone who prioritizes saving, generally seen as responsible.
They might be saving for a rainy day.
Putting money aside for unexpected future problems or expenses. Sensible preparation. Okay, the opposite. People who like spending.
Simply a spender. Opposite of a saver.
Someone who spends big, maybe gambles.
That's a high roller. Spends large amounts freely.
And the phrase for someone who just has to spend money as soon as they get it.
Oh, that's a great one. Money burns a hole in his pocket.
You can feel it. The money is uncomfortable just sitting there, needs to be spent.
Exactly that impulsive feeling.
What about positive spending? Giving money away.
That's being generous or charitable. Giving without expecting return, often to help others.
Okay. And just generally being smart about money. Managing it well.
You could say she is money savvy.
Savvy meaning smart, knowledgeable.
Yes. Shrewd and practical about finances.
And the action of planning finances.
That's where make a budget comes in.
A process. Tracking income money coming in.
And expenses money going out. Allocating funds.
People use apps for that a lot now.
They do.
Yeah.
It's about taking control, which leads to some basic wisdom.
Like don't spend above your means.
Or stay within your means.
Your means being the money you actually have. So spend less than you earn. Avoid debt for lifestyle.
Fundamental financial advice, really. So crucial.
It really is. Okay, from money to how we spend it, shopping.
Another daily activity for many, and the language reflects our relationship with stuff.
Right. Let's start with things we want to buy. If it's something practical, needed,
You might say, I'm in the market for, like a new car or fridge.
or I'm on the hunt for,
Yeah.
a specific item.
These sound quite focused, task-oriented, not super emotional.
Right. Getting a bit more personal, something you've noticed and like.
I have my eye on that jacket or that phone. Your attention is caught.
Okay. Now, intense desire. Maybe something expensive or luxurious.
I am drooling over that car or those shoes.
Using the food reaction means you want it really, really badly.
Or if it's constantly on your mind. I've been dreaming about.
Could be an item or maybe a trip. I've been dreaming about going to Italy.
Yes. And the most extreme desire.
I'm dying to get by.
Total hyperbole again. You want it so much, the waiting feels unbearable.
Okay, so those are things you want. What about things you've already bought?
Sometimes buying is hard, maybe expensive, something you put off.
That's the bite the bullet one, isn't it?
Yes. I finally bit the bullet and bought a new washing machine, for example.
Means you finally did the unpleasant or difficult thing, faced it.
Exactly. Now, for purchases that feel more like sensible improvements.
You could say, I upgraded my phone, laptop, whatever, replaced old with better.
Or I invested in a good mattress or some quality tools.
Invested makes it sound like a wise, long-term decision. Less emotional, more practical.
Right. But what if the purchase is emotional? A treat.
Then you say, I splurged on.
This means spending more than usual on something enjoyable, maybe not strictly necessary, treating yourself.
Could be big or small, right? A fancy coffee or a whole vacation.
Exactly. It's about spending freely for you. Now, an exciting purchase, making the leap.
I went for it.
Yeah. Captures the decisiveness, the excitement of just doing it after maybe thinking about it for a while.
Doesn't say if it was smart, just that you did it.
Precisely. And finally, the joy of a bargain.
It was a deal I couldn't pass up.
A deal is a great price, a discount. Pass up means ignore or decline. So the price was too good to resist. Had to buy it.
Love those moments. Okay, from buying things to learning things, school.
Yeah, talking about school experiences, high school, college, university, it's a common connector.
Especially when you first meet someone. A typical local question, did you go to school around here?
Meaning primary or secondary school nearby.
And a common follow-up, which needs care. When did you graduate?
Yeah, could mean high school or college. It's fine to ask which, or answer clearly. Graduated high school in '09, or college in 2015.
And we often use the two-digit year for older dates, full year for recent ones.
Right. And if you find out you went to the same school or graduated around the same time.
Oh, no way, me too. Instant connection.
It is. For college specifically, you ask, what did you study?
Or what did you major in?
Major in is very common in the U.S. for your main degree subject. You answer, I studied history, or I was a biology major.
But not everyone goes to college. How do people talk about that?
A standard phrase is, I went straight into the workforce after high school.
Clear, direct means started working right away.
And the funny informal one, for life experience instead of formal education.
I graduated from the School of Hard Knocks.
Not a real school.
Yeah.
Means you learn through tough experiences, challenges, usually said with a bit of pride, but keep it casual.
Okay, interesting contrast. Book smart versus street smart.
Ah, yes. He is book smart, but not street smart.
Book smart. Good at academics, tests, learning from books.
Street smart. Practical intelligence, common sense, good with people, navigating real-world situations, stuff not taught in classrooms.
So someone might ace exams but be clueless socially or practically?
Exactly. And the opposite is also common. He's street smart, but not book smart. Great with people, maybe struggles with academics.
What about how people feel about learning itself, like tests?
You might hear, I'm not a good test taker.
Often implies they know the material but panic or perform poorly under pressure, sometimes used as an excuse, maybe.
Could be. And if someone just loves reading and studying,
They're a bookworm.
usually positive, implies love of learning.
Okay, shifting to study habits or attitudes. If you need to study hard,
I gotta hit the books. Informal means time to focus on studying.
and someone who keeps learning throughout life.
I am a lifelong learner. Very positive, curious, adaptable.
What about wanting new experiences, broadening perspectives?
You could say you like to expand your horizons.
Learning new things, seeing more of the world, like learning English online, maybe?
Exactly. It broadens your world and an intense desire to learn.
I have a thirst for knowledge.
That thirst implies a really strong need or eagerness to learn more, drives curiosity.
Okay, great range there. From our own learning to talk about the next generation. Children.
Yes, kids. Such a common topic. Lots of warm expressions here.
Especially seeing cute babies. What do people say?
Spontaneously, oh my gosh, look at those ice toes cheeks. Just appreciating the cuteness.
And asking the name indirectly.
Addressing the baby. Who do we have here? Gentle way to prompt the parent.
And the classic compliment.
Oh, he looks just like you. Always makes parents smile.
Asking age is simple. How old is Hesha?
Or for older kids, what grade is Hesh in? Gives age context too.
Now, talking to parents with multiple kids, phrases acknowledging the chaos
Oh my, you have your hands full.
means they look very busy, managing a lot. It's empathetic.
Or, slightly less direct, you must be busy. Acknowledges the workload politely.
And a really nice compliment for parents.
What good helpers you have. Praising the kid's behavior or helpfulness is wonderful for parents to hear.
Then there are things older people often say to parents of young ones.
Right, like, I remember those days. Shared experience, empathy.
And it goes by so fast.
Plus the advice, enjoy every moment.
Which can be tough advice when you're in a tough moment.
Exactly, which leads to that perfect phrase capturing the paradox.
The days are long, but the years are short.
Isn't that brilliant? Daily struggles feel endless, but looking back, childhood flies by, captures the bittersweet reality.
So true. Okay, arranging kid meetups. How do parents connect?
Proactively. Can I give you my number so our kids can play it again sometime? Puts the onus on you.
Or more generally, let's do this again sometime. Less direct, less commitment, maybe.
Right. Now, a really important cultural note, especially in the U.S., questions to avoid asking about kids.
Yes, this is crucial. Don't ask people you don't know well.
Do you have kids?
Or worse, do you want to have kids? Very personal.
And absolutely avoid why don't you have kids?
Yeah.
Extremely sensitive territory. Could involve infertility, loss, personal choice. Just don't go there.
Also avoid asking parents, are you going to have more kids?
Or asking about an only child. Is Hisha your only one? Implies they should have more.
Basically, unless they bring it up, steer clear of family planning topics.
Exactly. Let them volunteer the information. In one final, vital PSA.
Public service announcement time. About food.
Yes. Never, ever give food to a child you don't know without asking the parent first.
So important. Allergies are a huge risk.
Huge. Plus, parents have rules, preferences. Always ask the parent, can your child have some of this before offering anything?
Essential etiquette and safety.
Oh,
Okay.
wow, we've really covered some ground today, haven't we?
We really have. From sleep to kids, feelings, money, shopping, school, the core stuff of life.
And seeing how the language works for these universal topics, it really shows how English captures all these little nuances.
It's not just vocabulary, is it? It's understanding the feeling, the context behind the words.
Exactly. So, for you listening, what this means is that every conversation is a chance to connect more meaningfully.
Using these expressions, understanding them, it helps you really participate, not just translate.
Right. Think about it, just knowing the right phrase for when you're feeling down or when you splurged on something. It makes your experience instantly relatable.
That shared understanding is key.
That's the power, isn't it? Not just grammar rules, but using words that truly reflect our experiences and connect us. It allows for real expression and empathy.
That's a great way to put it, a powerful thought. So maybe a little challenge for you this week.
Ooh, I like a challenge.
Pick a phrase or two from today, something that resonated, and, try using it.
Or just listen for them. You'll probably notice them popping up everywhere now.
Absolutely. Well, we hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the language of everyday life.
Yeah, hope it was useful.
If you found this helpful, please do like this episode, maybe share it with a friend who's also navigating English conversations.
And definitely subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss our future deep dives.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next time.